Students, in our last class we have discussed how the Indians started a rebellion against the British atrocities by starting the revolt of 1857, by forming the Indian National Congress, and at the end of our last class we saw that the British started to suppress the feelings of nationalism among the Indians by following a divide and rule policy. If you have missed our last class, then the link is in the description box below, you can check it there. Now today in this chapter we will learn how the British were successful in introducing the divide and rule policy, how the Indians protested that, and what were the movements Indians started against the British Crown that ultimately forced them to provide India its freedom. So hello students and viewers, I hope you all are doing well. This is your Arindam sir and you are watching Revision Learning. Our today's chapter name is India Wins Freedom, and it's the 6th chapter from the Enjoy and Learn Term 2 book for the class 5 students. In the initial days, after forming the Indian National Congress, we knew that the Indian National Congress was formed by a Britisher. His name was Alan Octavian Hume, and the first president of the Indian National Congress was an Indian, W.C. Banerjee. So in the initial days after forming the Indian National Congress, the Indians got very little success. So they gradually demanded for the participation in the governance of the country and also in forming self-government. With the passage of time, the Indian National Congress started to divide into two groups, the moderates and the extremists. Moderates wanted to follow the British rule with little changes in them, while the extremists wanted to form a self-government. Extremists felt that a struggle for freedom was required in order to stop the atrocities of British. The split between these two sections of the Indian National Congress came into the limelight at the end of Congress Banaras session in 1905. Leaders like Lala Lajpat Roy, Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandra Pal, they supported this theory. Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak gave a famous slogan while supporting the extremists. The slogan was, "Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it." So the Britishers took the advantage of this split in the Indian National Congress, and in the same year, that is in 1905, they followed the policy of divide and rule by making a partition of Bengal, that is West Bengal. They did the partition to divide the Hindus against the Muslims. The extremists of Congress were totally against it, and in anger they started the Swadeshi and Boycott movement. Swadeshi means our own country and boycott means to refuse or saying no to something. The movement started saying no to foreign goods. It also focused on buying Indian goods and clothes. The movement that began as an agitation to oppose the Bengal partition then became a mass movement as people from all over the country started to boycott foreign clothes and goods. They burned the foreign clothes and started to wear the Desi clothes. Due to this movement, finally, in 1911, the British were forced to reunite the Bengal. So in 1911, they reunited the Bengal that they did partition earlier. Along the Swadeshi and boycott movement, Rishi Aurobindo Ghosh, Veer Savarkar and Ajit Singh, they formed a secret revolutionary society. Now, let's talk about the role of Mahatma Gandhi in the Indians' freedom movement. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, or Mahatma Gandhi, lovingly called Bapu or Father of the Nation, was a leader of the non-violent independent movement against British rule in India. Mahatma Gandhi studied law in South Africa and came back to India in 1915 after fighting against racism in South Africa. Now students, racism means it's a belief that a particular race or community is discriminated or antagonized by an individual or a group or community on the basis of their particular racial or ethnic group, typically one who belong from minority or marginalized group. But this discrimination is very unlawful and unparliamentary. And our Mahatma Gandhi, he fought against that racism in South Africa. So after returning from South Africa to India, he started to fight for the civil rights of Indians, as he was touched by poor conditions of the common people of India. He chose the way of satyagraha, that is truth, and ahimsa, that is non-violence, to fight against the British rule. He always chose the paths of peaceful and non-violent protest, and his non-violent approach made him as one of the most revered figures in the modern history. So students, this is only the first part of the video. In our next part, we are going to discuss more about this chapter, as we have not finished up till now. In our next video, in the next part, we will discuss about the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, the non-cooperation movement, the civil disobedience movement, the Quit India movement, and the role of Indian National Army under the leadership of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in the Indians' freedom path. So students, till then, keep studying, keep learning, and we will meet in our next video. And our next video will come very soon, so keep an eye on that. And for this reason, you have to subscribe Revision Learning and press the bell icon so that you never miss any of our videos and updates. So make sure you subscribe Revision Learning and stay tuned to it. Thank you, and we will meet very soon.